In Houston and surrounding Harris County, primary ballots boast the names of more than a dozen women. Women running for state legislator, judge, party chairman. Women raising money for political campaigns at places like the Houston chapter of the National Women's Political Caucus, where party talk centers on female political participation.
Man, you go to any of the meetings, I don't care if it's a labor union or Republican meetings or anything, and the majority of the people there that are there to hear the candidates are women.
Women are not only listening, they're acting all over the country. Voter registration drives are putting more young women on voting lists than young men. In Houston, one group's attempting to add 9,000 female names to the registration rolls by November. A number of polls in recent months show a woman could add considerable strength to a presidential ticket. That's why the Democratic candidates are talking seriously about the matter, says National Women's Political Caucus Chair Kathy Wilson.
The candidates are taking the possible nomination of a woman as vice president very seriously, because I think they're beginning to view it not so much as a liability, but as a way to win. Polls consistently show that while some people would be repelled by a woman on the ticket, more people, and in particular women, would be attracted to the ticket, so that in a very strange way, a woman on the ticket might provide the margin of victory.
A supermarket magazine, Woman's Day, conducted a random unscientific survey of its readers. 115,000 women answered, and fully 25% of them said they'd change their party allegiance to vote for a woman vice president. Readers like Nancy Manweiler of Austin could hardly be considered wild-eyed feminist. She's a junior high school vocational counselor, a military wife, and a Republican.
I think I would be more inclined, yes, to look seriously and say if it were a Democratic ticket and a woman were running, I think I would say, gee, if there's any way I can support her, I would, simply because I think it's so important to have a woman running.
Phyllis Lambrecht of New Braunfels, Texas, is a lifelong Democrat. If there were a woman on the ticket, would that make you more interested in the ticket?
Oh, but very definitely. I would... I think I would vote for a Republican if he had a woman vice president.
Phyllis Lambrecht lives a few miles from where she was born. Oil company accountant Patricia Lee's come a long way from her Florida home, where her father was a sharecropper, her mother a domestic. Patricia Lee wants a woman on the ticket, even if some call it tokenism.
Whether she got there as a token or for whatever reason, even to be a token, you have to have some qualifications and something going for yourself. So I don't care how she gets there as long as she's there.
But others, like law student Nancy Townsend, who went back to college and law school after caring for an elderly grandmother, worry that a woman on the ticket might drive away men.
I just don't think they're ready for it. Men don't want to relinquish, vice presidencies, junior vice presidencies in corporations now without a fight.
For all its He-Man cowboy image, it's Texas that's produced a bevy of female vice presidential mentions in recent years.
The women were always there, power accruing, power developing, but in the past year and a half, it has surfaced, and it is pricking the conscience.
Then Texas Congresswoman Barbara Jordan aroused the 1976 Democratic Convention with her keynote address, the first to be given by a woman or a black, and supporters briefly floated a Barbara Jordan vice presidential balloon. Now a professor at the University of Texas, Jordan believes the men in charge of the political parties better get used to the idea of a woman on the ticket.
I would be the last to denigrate the judgment and wisdom and foresightedness of male politicians. Having said that, I don't think they quite realize how volatile this involvement of women is or portends to be. And I think this is not seen because this is not in our experience. This is not in our American political experience. It will be seen. They don't see it now. They can't internalize it. But it's going to occur, and it's going to be a surprise to them.